Hey everybody, it's Lee with Hey Mr. DJ, and today I'm going to share some tips for you on how to make your next virtual event more engaging. Tip number 1, incentivize your participants to show up to the meeting or event with their cameras on. If you're using Zoom or a similar platform, you'll have gallery view. And there's nothing worse than when people show up to a meeting and go into gallery view to take a peek around and see who's there, and there's a bunch of blacked out screens. Visually, it literally sucks the energy out of the meeting, regardless of what kind of cool music or vibe you've got going on vocally. So the best thing to do is incentivize everyone. You can, as a company or as an organizer, mandate that everyone have their cameras on, and that does work. We've had clients that make it a company mandate, but that feels a little bit harsh. A funner way to do it is incentivize everyone with prizes. Yay! Who doesn't love winning prizes? I'm telling you, people love being recognized and they love winning prizes. So here's a couple ways to incentivize. You can do a contest for best virtual background and make it a theme so that they don't have to do any thinking. The theme could be something like best vacation ever, and people can either upload images of vacations they've taken or of their dream vacation. Something like this is great because if you go into breakout rooms later, now you have an icebreaker topic and people can say, "Hey Joe, I didn't know that you went to Fiji. Tell me about it." So that's one way. You can think of a ton of other creative ideas on virtual backgrounds or attire, maybe doing a crazy hat day. We talk about some of these things in one of our other videos, but I can tell you that incentivizing people definitely works. The key is to award the prizes at the end of the meeting so people can't turn their camera off halfway through. Now, if you're using the webinar feature in Zoom or a platform like Intrado or Hopin or On24, those are webinar based, which means there is no gallery. So unfortunately, tip number 1 won't work for you. However, what we do recommend in this situation is heavily engage people through chat, so that you can also do fun contests or games or giveaways, and you'll incentivize people to show up through the chat window. Tip number 2, have a designated host whose primary job and purpose is to engage with everyone in the chat window and respond to their comments. Think of it like Facebook. When people post on Facebook, they're looking forward to seeing and reading the comments and kind of getting that recognition of people giving it a thumbs up, a like, or commenting. And as you know, good Facebook etiquette is you reply to every comment on your post. So it's very similar. People love the recognition and they love to see the feedback. So there needs to be someone who is engaging and keeping the momentum going in the chat window. This creates a lot more energy than you would imagine, especially if you don't have a gallery view and you're in a webinar format. Just watching the chat light up can be really fun. So this is where, if you are in webinar format and you're not using like a Zoom gallery, hiring a professional host or MC can help significantly, because this is where we really shine. You start to create like a one-on-one conversation, much like I'm doing with you right now. Like, Joe, I see you're coming in from Texas. That's awesome. What's the weather like down there? Amazing. Like, oh, your favorite podcast is How I Built This. Jennifer, that's my favorite podcast too. Did you see the episode of yada, yada, yada? And all of a sudden you have all these conversations going on and the chat window stays lit up and it keeps engagement really high. Tip number 3, make sure to recognize everyone. It sounds so simple, but you'd be amazed at how often this is overlooked. Everyone's so focused on running a meeting, running a program, or just opening up and hoping that everybody talks and engages. Or if it's a webinar format, you're focused on the content. But if you want engagement, you need to kind of reach out and virtually touch everybody and recognize them and give them some accolades, whether it be through the chat and sounding off on a comment they made, or if you do have a gallery view, calling people out by name, commenting on their outfit, their background. If it's someone you know, you can refer back to a conversation you've had. But acknowledging and recognizing people is really important and dramatically helps engagement. Why? Because people love hearing the sound of their own name. There's tons of studies about this. It's music to people's ears to hear their own name. It lights up your brain, gets the synapses firing when you hear. You're just conditioned to respond when you hear your own name. For extroverts, they love it. And for introverts, it helps drag them out of their shell a little bit and engage. So you can recognize people for anything as long as you try to do a touch point with everybody in the meeting somehow, some way. Again, this is a lot easier if you're in Zoom or you're in a gallery format, because you can literally see everybody. We often will call people out if their camera is off and ask them to turn their camera back on, just so we can say hello and say, we just love to see your beautiful smiling face. We're not worried if it's a no shower or a bad hair day. Making people feel comfortable and know that it's okay to show up however you are and you're going to be accepted and acknowledged is really important. That we've shared in our blog article, there's a couple amazing articles written about the psychology of how important personalization is to humans. So it's all kind of in that realm of recognizing people, acknowledging them, and finding a way to throw their name in, and you will definitely get more engagement from your participants. All right, tip number 4, prizes, prizes, prizes. I say this all the time. I've said it in other videos. I always hammer it home with our clients. People love winning stuff. And sometimes clients discount prizes because they feel like it's cheesy, or they think, well, we can't afford to give away really big prizes, or we can't afford to give everyone a prize. It doesn't matter. Just having something that you can offer incentivizes, which equals more engagement. You'd be amazed at what we've gotten people to do for a $10 Starbucks gift card or a DoorDash card. So if you have no budget and you can't afford to invest in prizes, you can get creative and still give away prizes. If you are a company, a small company, you could give people a coupon and make things up like they get an extra hour off any lunch hour, or maybe they get an extra sick day, or maybe the boss takes a task off their plate for that week. If you were throwing a fun little mixer for friends, then you can come up with creative coupons like, I will walk your dog every day for a week, or I will do your laundry. These sound silly, but you get the idea. You can personalize and customize some really fun ideas to offset if you don't have the budget. But if you do, I will tell you, the bigger the prize, the bigger the incentive, the more engagement you will have. And that is tip number 4. Now, some of you might be saying, DJ Lee, these are really obvious, simple tips. Yes, they are, but here's the thing. You'd be amazed at how many people overlook these simple tips because they get so wrapped up in their head, focused on logistics, focused on the timeline if it's a big event, and they forget to do the most simple things, which, as we've mentioned, is incentivizing everyone to show up and to be present and to engage with their engagement via chat and commenting. And then, of course, we talked about recognizing, the importance of recognizing, spotlighting some people, making people feel special, and lastly, of course, prizes. So that's it. Those are some tips to help your next virtual meeting or event in terms of engagement. We always recommend that you consider investing in a professional DJ, MC, or host, because this is what we do. This is our skill set, and we can rock it. But good luck with your next event. We have other videos. You can check things out on our website and our blog. I hope it's helpful, and we'll see you next time.